Jurisdiction. We often hear about that when the law is being discussed. Exactly what does it mean? Well, in a nutshell, if you want to sue somebody who did you wrong, who ran into your car, built a fence on your property, you need to sue them in the state where you are living, and they must be in that state also. The state's jurisdiction, the court's jurisdiction, only runs to the border of the state where the court is located. But what happens if somebody did you wrong and they live outside that state? What happens if they live in another country? Well, that takes us to this week's case. It involves a company that was in Connecticut. And the company also had operations in Canada. And it had Canadian employees. Well, they fired one of their Canadian employees. And this woman who was living in Canada was upset. And she accessed the main computer for the company that was located in Connecticut. She was able to get confidential information. She was able to send emails from the computer which frankly misrepresented what was going on. Company was damaged as a result of this, and they brought suit against the woman who was living in Canada in a court in Connecticut. Well, the court initially threw the case out because the woman, through her attorneys, contended there was no jurisdiction. She wasn't in the state of Connecticut. It went up on appeal, and on appeal, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals looked at it and said, you know, look at what's really happened here. This is the age of the internet. And in this instance, this woman living up in Canada came into the computer located in Connecticut, obtained and took confidential information, and was able to actually send emails from the computer in Connecticut. For all intents and purposes, she had accessed that. Granted, she did that remotely, and for all intents and purposes, she was in Connecticut. And as such, we find that the court's jurisdiction, even though the court is in Connecticut, actually extends to someone who lives in Canada and had not been in Connecticut when she did her wrongdoing. As such, we find the case can go forward. Now, this is an important ruling because it demonstrates that the whole concept of jurisdiction, which in the past has always been very geographic, is beginning to change. She, living person, was never in Connecticut, yet the court is finding that the Connecticut courts have jurisdiction over her because of what she did in Connecticut. As such, the company could go forward with its lawsuit. Well, this is having a major impact, and particularly when it comes to sale of things over the internet. As everybody knows, lots of things are sold on eBay. Lots of things are sold on other internet exchange places. And the question many times arises, where can that suit be brought? Let's say you are living in Illinois and you buy an automobile from some guy who's living in Kansas. Well, the car isn't quite what you want it to be. Can you sue the guy in Kansas? Well, those cases are kind of going all over the ballpark right now, but it demonstrates the way in which the law is evolving. Can you be assured that if you're sitting there in Illinois and you want to sue the guy in Kansas, you're going to be able to do so? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. This is an evolving area of the law, and it's changing case by case. In this particular instance, where somebody came in and used a computer from outside the country, and they were able to be sued in the state of Connecticut where that computer was located, demonstrating the way in which courts recognize that it is an internet world, and people don't have to be in the state in which they are being sued in order to bring harm or do things. Okay, hey, we bring you this case, we bring you cases every week so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.